Hello, Roland. Thank you so much for having me at your beautiful distillery.
George, it's my pleasure. And we turned on this beautiful day for you.
It was very kind of you.
It is stunning.
It is gorgeous. So, you are the master mixer and distiller and
Yes.
creator
Yes.
here at Settlers Distillery.
Yes. I'm not the creator, but I do create.
You do create.
I have a passion.
Yes,
for
you do.
creating, For creating.
Clearly, we have so many beautiful types of gin here.
Yes.
And other spirits and liqueurs as well. But I'd love to start with a little discussion about this one,
you gonna
mostly
have a
so I
little-
can have a sip.
You have our brand new coriander leaf gin. And the brief to me was that for family Christmas lunch, we were having seafood. And so I set out to create a gin to go with seafood. And that is the result. And it
Very
just
fresh.
It is fresh, and if you shut your eyes and smell it, it could be just like you were smelling fresh coriander.
The
Isn't it
coriander
beautiful?
aroma is
And it's so
strong and
fresh, and it's clean, and it's bright. And I feel so sorry for those people that just can't stand coriander. Because they're
maybe
missing-
you can cure them.
Yes, they're missing a treat. And we've garnished that with lime, with freshly cracked black pepper, which makes it into something quite savoury.
This is amazing. That is so delicious.
I'm glad you like it. Meet Heather Primrose.
Hello, Heather.
So she
She's beautiful.
is beautiful, and she's named after my mother-in-law.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What a beautiful name.
Yes. So tradition has it that stills are females,
Uh-huh.
and so that's a copper pot still, and that's for making whiskey.
This is your gin still?
Yes, and so that is what's known as the botanicals basket. So the things that are a bit delicate and we wanted to capture lovely aromatics go into there. And so the alcoholic vapour passes through there very gently, capturing all of those wonderful aromatics.
Great. And over here,
Yes,
We
so
have-
that part is called a copper pot still, and that tapered copper bit on the top is what's known as a whiskey helmet, and so that part of the still specialises in making whiskey.
what's happening in there at the moment?
Well, right now I'm setting up to start distilling juniper berries in the morning, and if you'd like, I can go through adding that last bag.
It's quite heavy.
It is.
How big is this bag?
25 kilos.
25 kilos. How many kilos of juniper berries would go into one?
There's 50 kilos in there.
Right.
And so that'll take all day tomorrow to distill. So juniper is the base of gin. So that juniper goes into all of the gins that we make in different proportions depending on what the recipe is.
Does it go from that side to that side or that side to that
No,
side?
it starts here.
Yeah.
And so this gets hot
Yes.
and the steam vapours, alcohol boils at 78 degrees.
78 degrees?
Yes.
Does it?
As opposed to water, which boils at 100.
Yeah.
So what happens is that the heater elements at the bottom heat up the alcohol and heat up the juniper berries, and the alcohol boils and comes off as a vapour infused with the flavour and aromatics of whatever the botanical is in there.
And then it gets caught in the whiskey helmet.
It gets caught up, and there's a turbulence happens in there, and then it goes over the top through the botanical basket if we need, and then the last column is the condenser, which converts it back to a liquid.
So is there a little tap over here where it
There
pops
is.
out?
Yes, right here. There it is.
comes out there.
We want it to come out not hot, and so we can have it coming out too hot, which means that I'm driving it too hard.
Right.
And if it comes out too hot, those delicate aromatics are lost.
Ah, okay.
So I monitor that.
So if it's too hot here, you'll reduce
Reduce the heat.
the heat in the...
So it's all happening
Start.
slower. Yeah,
Thanks for introducing me to Heather Primrose.
that's all right.
You, before you came down the path of gin, were a master mariner
I am.
on the open seas, or you still are?
Yes.
Once a captain, always a captain.
Absolutely. Yes, although my wife's in charge.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
naturally. And was gin always part of your life?
Yes. Yes, we used to, before we, well, I shouldn't say this, but the tax man's not listening.
Okay, great.
No, I used to make gin for ourselves just before we did it commercially. So gin became flavour of the month, and here we are.
And here we are. Let's talk about this delightful
Yes.
flavour in front of us.
That is a Shiraz gin. Well, you can see it's a Shiraz gin
You can.
because it says it on the label, which is the clue, really. But what I like about it, we have a vineyard and a winery here.
You do.
And as I was mentioning to you earlier, when gin was invented, it was created using grape spirit. So we use our own grapes here, and that's the result. There's more than one Shiraz gin in the marketplace. My point of difference is that it's coming from the point of view of a winemaker. So I've taken Shiraz grapes, turned it into Shiraz wine, and then added the Shiraz wine,
Married the two.
together. And so it's my two favourite things in the one bottle.
I mean, same, to be honest.
Yes.
Wine and gin. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
So, but the interesting thing is, you smell it, and it's lovely upfront juniper, but then you taste it, and it's got palate weight, and it's got structure, and it's got a tannin profile, all winey things.
Amazing.
Things that you don't associate with gin.
Yeah.
So I will probably be having a big one of those.
Yeah,
a bit later.
And me too. I would like to go back to the fact that your base spirit is distilled from grapes, because often gin is either grain or even potatoes sometimes.
No, that's vodka. Grape,
Yeah.
gin can be grape spirit or grain. As we mentioned, grape was the origins of gin.
Yeah.
But the advantage of grape spirit, as opposed to grain, is it is lovely and it's soft in your mouth. So you were just a
Yeah.
moment ago
Yeah.
drinking 43% alcohol gin straight.
And I could just pop
And it
that
didn't
down.
burn.
Not at all.
There was a no burn.
No.
So it's lovely and smooth. And here's a word, it's unctuous.
Unctuous.
It's got a lovely unctuousness in your,
does
in
have
your
a-
mouth.
yes.
And so that's, apart from the fact that we grow grapes and have a winery, I like that about it.
The
and
unctuousness.
And it's soft.
It is, yeah. It's a very gentle flavour for a gin, which sometimes got a bit of a burny bite.
So it's smooth.
Yeah, very
Smooth.
smooth. As well as gin, you have whiskey,
We do.
which is aged in port barrels.
We're using port barrels. Traditionally, whiskey is aged in port barrels or sherry barrels. There's some out there now experimenting with barrels that have had wine in them. 3/4 of the flavour that's in whiskey comes from the barrel and what was in it previously. So we've chosen port.
How would you describe the flavour profile of your whiskey?
Well, again, soft and smooth, but with violet crumble and honeycomb,
Oh, yum.
and very easy to just drink over a piece of ice.
Lovely. You source as many of your botanicals as you can from the local.
We do.
Area.
Yes, there's we use muntry berries, which are a native apple, tiny little apple the size of your little fingernail. We use saltbush, and there's a native community down in the southeast that have got a business farming these things, and lots of other native botanicals that we source and use.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And of course, your own grapes.
Yes, well, this Shiraz gin is made from our own grapes and
That's amazing.
from our own Shiraz vineyard.
We've got a little slice of orange in here too.
Yes, so it reminds me very much of sangria.
I can taste the gin and I can taste the Shiraz.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it is a taste sensation.
Thank you.
You created some of these flavours yourself.
Yes.
Do you just kind of have a little daydream about what might go together, or?
I do.
You do?
And normally it's a very early morning dream, about 4 o'clock.
Oh, yes.
This inspiration, and the breakfast gin was one. I wonder what would happen if. And then the breakfast gin was the result of that.
And a great success.
And the coriander leaf was a result of that. So stand by for the next iteration.
Roland, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
I've had a fabulous time. I'm going to take this and this.
And once the camera stops, you might even be able to have another.
You never know your luck. Thanks so much.
My pleasure, George.